Question number one. How much can you sell your home for? Before you consider selling your current property, you need to think about the price you could fetch for it. You'll of course want to confirm that you can sell it for enough to pay off your mortgage loan and any transaction costs associated with the sale. Ideally, you also want to clear enough profit to cover all the costs of your new, smaller home, or at least to make a generous down payment on it. If property values are currently down and you may not get a good price for your home, it may not be the optimum time to downsize. Question number two. How much will it cost to buy a new property? You also want to make sure that buying a new place is going to be affordable for you. While downsizing usually means moving to a smaller, cheaper home, sometimes it's not always possible to find a new home within your price range, especially if many of the small homes you are interested in are located in costlier parts of town. Question number three. Will you stay in the same area? If you're planning to downsize to a different location, this can create a host of other issues. Tax laws may differ in your new area, for example. If you end up owing more income taxes, downsizing could actually end up costing you money in some circumstances instead of saving it. A move to a new area can also mean incurring significant expenses associated with transporting your possessions long distances. You will need to be certain you are ready for these upfront costs. Question number four. How will your property taxes and insurance costs change? Depending on where you're moving, you could end up facing different property tax rates on your new smaller property. You could also get stuck with higher home insurance costs if, for example, you end up relocating to a flood zone or a hurricane-prone spot. Be sure to research all these issues to get a big picture idea of the total costs of your new property. Don't assume it will always be cheaper to buy a smaller home until you've confirmed the total costs associated with your ownership. Question number five. How will your maintenance costs and obligations be affected? Home maintenance is another big issue that you must consider. Typically, a smaller home will come with lower maintenance costs because you won't have as large area to keep up with. But if you are downsizing to an older property or one that was not maintained as well as your current space, you can find yourself facing higher costs over the time. Question number six. What mortgage rate will you qualify for if you need to borrow? If you will need to get a new mortgage to buy a new property, you should check current rates to see how much your current home loan will cost you. Mortgage rates have gone up considerably this year compared with the recent past. If you end up having to take out a loan at a much higher rate than you are currently paying, your housing costs may not go down much, if at all, even if you're taking out a smaller loan on your new home. A very important question number 7. What are your real motivations for downsizing? Thinking about your goals for downsizing can help you to make informed assessment about whether your move will make you happy. If your goal is to save money, downsizing is likely to pay off only if you can find a cheaper property with a home loan that actually uses your costs. On the other hand, if you're moving primarily because you're tired of cleaning and maintaining a large home, you will want to make sure your new place is in a good condition and not likely to cause you more problems than your current home. Otherwise, it doesn't make any sense, right? Question number 8. How will your lifestyle change? It's important to really think about what moving into a smaller home will mean and make sure you're ready for that shift. For example, if you and your partner are both retired and have your own space to indulge in your hobbies, consider whether that will be the case after you move. If not, will you really be happy sharing a small space all day long? I doubt. You will also want to think about other lifestyle factors such as your commuting time and accessibility to family, friends, and recreational activities. Question number 9. How long do you expect to stay in your new property? There are high transaction costs associated with buying and selling. If you don't plan to stay in the new home for several years, you could end up losing money due to the switching properties. You can also get stuck with higher capital gain taxes if you haven't stayed in your home long enough before selling. So, unless you anticipate staying put in your new place for several years, you may be better off remaining where you are. Question number 10. Do you expect life circumstances to remain stable? While it may be tempting to downsize in a moment of frustration, especially if you're tired of cleaning a large property or paying a big mortgage bill and property taxes, we will want to look beyond your immediate needs. If you anticipate major lifestyle changes in the coming years, such as retirement, a move to assisted living, or changing in family structure, it may not make sense to jump into a move right now. Question number 11. Will family return home or grow? People often consider downsizing after their children leave home. But it's important to realize that kids can come back. In fact, this has become increasingly common, right? Your children could also give you grandkids who can come to visit often. If you anticipate family coming back home often, either for long visits or to stay, you may not be happy in a smaller house. Question number 12. How will your outdoor space be affected? Smaller homes can sometimes come with smaller lots and less privacy. If you enjoy gardening or having green space around you, think about what giving this up will mean to you. It can be a major lifestyle change to go from having a place to sit outside to being stuck indoors. And it can be a shock to end up close to neighbors when you're used to have plenty of space around you. Question number 13. Will you be leaving behind social connections? For many people, their social life revolves around their community. If downsizing means moving further away from family or friends or giving up neighborhood activities that you love, then you may end up unhappy in the long run. This is especially true if you're retiring and will also be losing the social connections your job provides. Because of that, think twice. Question number 14. Can all your stuff fit in the new home? If you have a lot of possessions you don't want to get rid of, think about whether you will be able to keep everything that matters to you in your new space. If you get stuck with storage costs for years to come, then a switch to a smaller home may not save you as much money as you would hoped. Question number 15. Will a smaller home meet your needs over the long term? Finally, think carefully about whether your new smaller home is going to be a place you enjoy spending time in for the foreseeable time. If you can't picture yourself being happy in a smaller space or are very sad about giving up your house, you may want to think about other ways to cut costs while staying in your current place.